Hello everyone. In this video, I will be discussing enum class, that is scoped enumeration, introduced in C++11 to overcome the limitations of enum available in C++ earlier versions. So let's go. Now let's start with enum class keyword introduced in C++11. Now we have discussed about the use of enum keyword, that is used, or enumeration type that is used for creating a user defined type. Now these enumerations were having enumerators as their value, which were simply named constants or named values which represented integral constants. Now the issue in that case was, if we are having two different enumerations, like we are having ice cream and fruits as two different enumerations or enumerated types, and both having the same value of this particular enumerators, like mango is there and mango is here. Now, if we use this particular enumerators in our code, then naming collisions arise, and as a result, the compiler generates a compile time error because enumeration types defined in the same scope must have unique names. So, in the versions before C++11, this problem usually arose, and this problem resulted in compile time error. So one way of resolving this particular collisions was to provide distinct names, that is, the enumerators were made distinct within the respective enumerations. For example, instead of mango we could write mango ice cream, and instead of mango in a fruit enumeration we could write mango fruit. So this unique names could overcome this problem, and these particularly enum was unscoped enums. So that is why, because their scope was not limited just because to the given enumeration. So that is why their name was unscoped. So to overcome this problem, the C++ developers introduced enum class, or better known as scoped enumerations, with the version C++11. So it was basically used to address the limitations and provide some additional functionality to the C styles enum that was used for creating user-defined type. So it had many features in addition to overcoming the naming collision problem. Now instead of using enum, we used enum class for this particular enumerations. So in C++11, scoped enumerations could be created with the help of enum class keyword. Now it limits the scope of the enumerator constant within the specified enumeration type. So there are no naming collisions when two enumerations have the same named enumerators. So this was the basic reason, or the basic advantage of enum class over the enum keyword available in the earlier versions. Now, for example, we are having the earlier version unscoped enum, which directions adds the enumeration or the user defined type that we have created, and the values it is holding is this. Now, in case of C++11, when enum class, or later versions, when enum class is used, we could write enum class. Now, the advantage is it avoids naming collisions. So if in the previous example, mango can be existing if defined using an enum class in both fruits and ice cream enumerations. So this was primarily, and it does not it also provides other advantages, like it helped to overcome the implicit conversion because it was strongly typed, and it does not compare enumerations as we did earlier, that we remember that we could compare enumerations, different enumerations, indicating it is a strongly scoped enumeration. So in order to understand it, let's discuss first its type safety. Like enum keyword values cannot be implicitly converted to integers or other enum types. You need to explicitly cast, like we did using static cast. So if in this particular enumeration, like we have defined, and we defined as a variable of types color, that is C, and assign a value red. Now if we assume that it has a value int color and a color value is assigned a value C over here, it will not work. But with enum it can work. So this is why, because it is a strongly typed enumeration type that is available to us, which earlier version of enum could not hold. So therefore it had to be explicitly specified. So also the default enum class had a default type of int. So the subsequent enumerators were incremented by 1. One can also explicitly specify of the underlying type of the enum. For example, instead of int, we could also specify char. So the respective values will be the 0 character, 1 character, and 2 character. So this is also very important property that is available to us with the enum class keyword. Then another important thing that we should remember while working with enum class is the feature of forward declaration. In this forward declaration, it allows to declare the name of the enum class without defining the enumerators. So we could write enum class my enum. It defines a forward declaration, and later on, so that we can use in some code, like if a function is returning this value, so we can use it, and this forward declaration without the help of enumerators still works. But otherwise it could not work in the earlier available only enum keyword, that was unscoped enumeration. So it was useful specifically while working with header files where enum class could be used across multiple source files. Also, it also provides complete definition is available across one source file. Now, for example, we could use it in the header file, and this particular enumeration class that we have defined could be made available to be used along different header files. So this is how the enum keyword, that was forward declaration, is possible, and this is how it is used in another program, that is myprogram.cpp, where you can return this particular value and get the value as the result. So these are some of the features and advantages of enum class introduced in C++11. So now let's discuss it with the help of a code. Now let us consider a program where we show the use of enum class, and before that let me create first enumeration with the help of enum keyword, and let the names of the fruit be mango, apple, banana. And similarly, let me create an ice cream, vanilla, mango, chocolate. Okay, so I have created two enums as I did earlier in the previous video using enum class, enum keyword. Now I will be using this in our program. So let me use it. I create a variable, let it be and I assign a value. Similarly, now it is showing me that the value of type ice cream cannot be used to initialize it. So I can rename it, like as I've discussed, to avoid this naming conflict. I can write like this, and then I can write. Now you can see this error is gone. But instead of this, I can also do it like this. And here also I can write So let me see, now this error is not showing and I can simply use it to print the values. Okay, so if I check the values and compare them, that is fr1 is equal to is1 double equal to, sorry, and I put an else statement over here. Okay, so if I look at here, I just remove these brackets. Okay, so if I look over here, it is not showing me any error, but when I try to run it, it is showing me that you cannot compare it. It is a warning message. So I try with enum class first. Available to us with C++11. Now it is again straightforward showing me that it is an error. First, instead of warning, it is showing me an error, as you can see. So for this, in order to avoid this, I can convert it to static conversions using, I can convert it to fruits. And here I can compare it with okay, so it is showing me because they are not matching. For this, I can convert from one enumeration to another, and then I can see whether their values are same or not. So they are showing me different integral values that can be used. I can use this static cast to convert from one enumeration to another. Now, if I do it using int values, so that I can compare their values from the respective enumerations. So this is also possible. So different integral values. But if I can try it another way also, I can use conversions to specific int, like now I want this value to be converted to fruits, and for this I will have to write fruits followed by is1. Okay, so I just print this value. Now it is showing me this error because I am simply printing it this value in this way. I first need to convert it to int. So this is that you can do over here. Now you can get the values. It is 1 over here. Now I can compare this value with that of now again I need to convert it using I can simply write this one. Okay, so now it is having the same because I have changed this value to that of the fruits. So in this case, this is how the things can be. You can convert one enumeration to another. You can convert from enumeration to an int type, as you can see. And this all possibilities are with the static class conversions that we did. We can also use it. The basic thing is it avoids naming collisions that is being there. So you can compare those values, although they are from because their scope is limited to that. and their values are accordingly defined for this. So this is how it works.
Subscribe, like, share.